Let's talk about Bitcoin. What's up, guys? Quick update here on the price. If you watched yesterday's video, then you already know what's going on. And if you haven't, make sure to check it out. Already basically announced that this was going to happen, that we were going to go lower. And I'm going to start out here on the daily chart. But before anything, thanks everyone watching, and to support me to hang out more often, make sure to smash up the like button and also follow me here on any platform that you might be watching on right now. Really appreciate any followers, any engagement, puts a smile on my face and helps me out to break the algorithm and get more visibility. So let's dive into the charts and start out here with the daily chart and my support levels. If you've seen my post yesterday on TradingView already, then you're familiar with this. Then I've been talking about it on Twitter today as well. There's been I started a thread where I went through all the timeframes from that post on TradingView yesterday. And here we can see now that we're currently sitting on the expected support level right around 20K down to 17,700. And then I just scroll it over here for a second, and then we got to see where this comes from. Here you can see it. This was the previous one that I had marked, that I were already said weak historic support, resistance level, but strong alignment with 200-week SMA and 50-month SMA. These are significant indicators that we want to close above on a closing basis. So wicking below them was expected, as I mentioned in my previous posts. Sorry, my phone is kicking off here, 1 second. And yes, now we see here very strong support resistance area once again. This is the exact area that we're sitting on, and there I want to see alignment as well later on larger timeframes with solid indicators giving us extremely strong support there as well. So let's go back here just to the current moment in the chart here, and there we see we're just about to sit on the exact 20K level here, more or less. And this is obviously an area that a lot of people have been talking about. A lot of orders are being placed on very even numbers, such as 20K. There's going to be an expected bounce here, and then it's going to be interesting, of course, to see if we get a long-term bounce, which I don't expect. I think we go even lower than this. And there we see the bottom of the range here, right around 17,700. Any bounce here that will be significant will obviously, definition here of a trend reversal, to keep it brief, is to get above the previous high. So we want to break the neckline here right around 31,700. Anything below that is basically a dead cat bounce, and we can expect further downside. And on the larger time frames, I will show you what exactly is necessary to continue in trends or with data that has been on the table for Bitcoin and 100% of the time for a decade or so. So let's move over to the weekly chart actually. And there I want to start out here. Yeah, let's start out with the support resistance levels here as well. There you can see the blue box area, basically the same range that we've just been looking at on the daily chart here, going a little lower. And that is coming here, of course, also from the 2017 20K all-time high here, this range here where we broke above, then got rejected and went back down, went into that bear market. And of course, this very significant level here also in alignment, as you can see, with the previous support resistance area that I've been talking about, coming from November, December of 2020 here, the current support level laying right below us. And then, of course, what we need to achieve here, as it happened every single time in the history, I will show you another chart. This one is not leading back too far. We want to close above the 200-week SMA again. And here we can see it better. I mean, it happened every single time. As mentioned in all my previous videos, the most outrageous event was when we just briefly dipped below it here, rallied straight back up and went on a bull run from there. March 2020, of course, when we were all going a bit insane with our expectations, at least towards what was going on in the world. And yeah, here we can see it. So what I talked about in my previous posts and everything, the Fibonacci retracement. This is the Fibonacci retracement, of course, coming from the spoken area, the March 2020 lows, all the way up to the 69K all-time high November last year. And there we can see we lost the golden ratio. Everything I've talked about in my previous videos, I'm just going to keep it brief here. We entered the high compression area, which is always the 38.2 to the 61.8, and divided usually into two ranges between the 38.2 and the 50 and the 61.8 and the 50. And here we had beautiful sideways movement respecting that area. Brief fake out, got rejected immediately here, and then fell onto the 61.8 and 65, the golden ratio. Here couldn't hold support there, fell through, and now are targeting the 78.6, the line in the sand on the Fibonacci retracement as always, which is laying right around 17,700. Perfect alignment with the bottom of the area on the daily chart that we just saw. If I just go back there quickly, you can see it. 17,700, 800, something like that, coming here from where we bounced and then continue to new all-time highs back in December 2020, January 2021. And yeah, that's exactly where we're sitting on right now. Now let me go back to that weekly chart. Here it is. And yeah, that of course, then the necessary play here to continue in this trend, to never have closed the candle significantly below the 200-week SMA, we would have to find a bounce here somewhere, and therefore the 78.6 here in alignment with those previous bounces that we found there in January 2021 would be in good alignment here to get a bounce here right around 17,700. As I said, in weeks ago and months ago, I've been talking about the 20K area, of course, and I think a few weeks ago I posted a video on YouTube where I talked about my exact bottom target being right around 17,800 or something like that. And here we see it. That's coming exactly from that Fibonacci retracement level. Now, will that be exactly the bottom? Of course, we can wick below it. What is important is that we see that as a bounce level, and we don't even want to close above there on a weekly basis, because that would mean we would close significantly below the 200-week SMA, which we have never done before, not even at the beginning of the pandemic. So keep that in mind. And then, of course, in the background, we see it luring the most bullish scenario for Bitcoin here still, the falling wedge, giving us still a chance here to close within it and then continue here. Then, of course, with the breakout target, if I just take a quick measurement here you can see it. We have the breakout then, and that would take us right around to our previous all-time highs. And of course, that would be the most bullish scenario for Bitcoin, as I mentioned many times before. Just wanted to update you guys here. Of course, what we got to keep our eyes on now is to get the bounce here right around the maximum bottom range, in my opinion, for Bitcoin, right around 17, 18K, that area, and then close above the, not only to 200-week SMA. Let me just take you over to the monthly chart as well quickly, as this video is staying short, I can see. Here's something that I talked about, of course, a lot. We can see those moving averages. Let me just see. There you can see it clearer. The white one, the pink one we just saw, that is the 200-week SMA. The white one is the 50-month SMA. And as you can see, we never fell below that either. And I mentioned it in my previous videos as well, as I talked about the 20K area for, I think, February now, or end of January even, to be my target area for the bottom for Bitcoin. Or at least the most logical bottom for Bitcoin. There were a few bounces that could have been in play, but as I said many times, I didn't expect never the bounce in the 28 to 38K region, as we came in there way more bearish by losing the 50-week SMA. I mean, the 50-week SMA, every time we lost it after putting an all-time high, here it comes again for the 1 millionth time. We ended up going to the 200-week SMA every single time. Lost the 50-week SMA, went down to the 200-week SMA, and here we did it again. While I was mentioning this back in the beginning of the year, people were telling me, no way, we're going to find a bounce, we're going to go to new all-time highs still. And yeah, wasn't the case. Of course, there were bullish scenarios as well on the table, which I also talked about, but we always have to keep in mind what is the most logical scenario, and then be prepared for anything else to happen as well. As traders especially, you want to be ready for the price to move in any direction. You want to have your trades planned and then be able to enter whether the price moves up, down, or sideways, right? So here's one thing I wanted to point out. We see it here from 2017 down to 2019. We touched the 200-week SMA, but we did not touch the 50-month SMA. Hence, we fell short of putting in a new all-time high, then came back down to, of course, March 2020, where we touched both of them again and then put in new all-time highs. That was the last scenario that, of course, talked about a million times before as well, that I wanted to mention here on the monthly chart. And there you can see it very clearly. Here, not only on a weekly basis, we need to close above the 200-week SMA, also on a monthly basis, we need to close above the 50-month SMA, which we've never closed below. So these are all the strong indicators giving us, pointing us in the direction of the 20K to 17.5K or 17,700, 800 region here that we can see here circled in red here on the daily chart. And we see we're sitting once again right above it. Now guys, as always, getting out of the office, gonna go spend my time in the sunshine here, Marbella, Spain. as always, going down to the beach, hang out there for a while. And for you guys, as always, happy trading and see you very soon.